Here we are in the seafood capital world, Myrtle's Inlet, South Carolina, catching some triggerfish, and I can't wait to get this bad boy back to the shop and see what we come up with. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Dylan Foster, and I love seafood. I've been in the Myrtle Beach area for more than 15 years, and since then, my life has revolved around seafood. From cooking and catching it, to serving and selling it, I've done just about everything you can do in this industry. So come and join me as we tour the places, faces, and tales of Myrtle Beach seafood. This is On the Hook.
So triggerfish, this is a great local favorite. Our customers love it. Locals all up and down the Grand Strand of South Carolina love this fish, and it's a really interesting species that we're blessed to have here locally. Let me tell you a little bit about it. First off, you see their color, nice and gray. When they first come out of the water, they got really beautiful blue spots up and down through here. Really great fish, beautiful fish. You see their jaws, really small but really powerful. They use these jaws to eat their prey, which is shrimps and crabs and little shellfish on the coral reefs. And when they do that, they swim down onto them like this, and they blow air down onto the sand, and it blows the sand away, and then it reveals their shrimp and their crab, and they use these very small but extremely powerful jaws that bite right into those tough shells. So that's what they eat, and because they eat a sweet shellfish, the meat itself has a really sweet consistency. It pairs really well with shrimp and crab and scallops. Very versatile as far as cooking methods. You can grill it, fry it, bake it, saute it, really any way that you like to cook it. This fish will do it just fine for you. And they're called triggerfish. Let me show you this little trick. So they have these two spines on top. And when they get threatened in the water, they swim themselves into a crack or crevice, and then they pop this first dorsal fin up, this first spine. And that thing is really up in there. You can't push that down without breaking the bones of the fish until you pull this trigger. Boom. And then it pops right down, and that's why they call them triggerfish. This triggerfish here has extremely thick skin. This skin is like leather. It's really difficult to break through, and that's actually why up until a couple years ago, triggerfish was considered a trash fish, or not a fish that was typically used for restaurant or food service applications. But we've learned since then, because we now know that this is one of the most delicious fish that we have here locally. So, all right, so to cut this triggerfish, we're gonna lay him flat on our board, and we're going to start with our knife right here by the dorsal fin. And I like to have them facing away from me, because even though they're dead, they still get a little skittish when they see this knife coming at them. So I like to keep them as calm as possible before we start. So the knife is gonna go right in here into the top, and we're just gonna work right down this skin. And I told you that the skin is like leather, so it works to get on the inside and cut from the inside out, as opposed to maybe a traditional, like a snapper or a grouper, where you can work through the skin. This skin doesn't work like that. So we're gonna come through here, working from the inside out, open that fillet up, all the way down. Now we're gonna take our knife, there's a couple of little rib bones that are right up in here. We're just gonna take our knife, hold that tail nice and firm, and pop your knife through those rib bones. There we go. Some of them get a little tough, especially with a triggerfish this big. This is actually quite a large triggerfish. So that fillet is completely cleaned. The ribs are cut, so now we'll do the exact same thing on the back side. Again, start up here by that fin, punch through, and then slowly work our way through this leathery skin, making sure our knife is right on those bones. You see, we'll come right down through here, all the way. You hear that? That's that fish orchestra that we like to talk about. That's what we like to hear. Get all of that amazing meat right off those bones. We bring our knife down, cut this fillet free from its bones, come through the tail section, and then work our way right up that rib cage there. All right, and then the same as on the other side, we have those rib bones, 4 or 5 rib bones right here. So I'll lay this fillet down, and just with a couple of nice pops right through there. One more time, there we go. Now we're through it. You cut those rib bones out. Now these 2 fillets are completely free except for this little section here. Now this is why I like to use a nice curved fillet knife, especially when I'm using triggerfish. A nice sharp point, thin knife works really well, because the skin is so tough, we can't really saw through it this way. So we're gonna poke through right up here by the ear. Fish actually have ears, did you know that? They can hear just like you and I. They hear a little different, but they do hear. And so with just the tip of the knife, upside down, we're gonna run right down through here and pop out. Make sure you're not standing too close to a neighbor, you might stab them. Come right down this way, and then that fillet is gonna come off just like that. And you see they have these red kind of like lungs, like a crab has lungs on the inside. This is part of its breathing mechanism that it uses there in the water. So we're gonna flip this fish right over and rinse and repeat. Same method. So we'll just take the tip of our knife right down here through this leathery skin, pop up there, come down here, connect the top, and then you go. Fillet number 2 of that triggerfish. And there you have a perfectly clean triggerfish fillet. Those rib bones are exposed. Beautiful. Now, make sure you wipe down your board really clean, because next we're gonna skin this. So we take our fillets, and triggerfish skin actually comes off really easily. You could actually peel it away if you would like, but sometimes you tear up the fillet and the meat. So today we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna pull up a little piece of that tail, and we're just gonna work that fillet knife right down that skin, getting all of that delicious meat right off the skin. And if you don't go through all in one shot, that's okay. Just work it until you have a nice clean fillet and a beautiful, nice piece of clean skin like that. Now, once you have the skin off, you're gonna take your knife and come up under these little rib bones here, just like you see me doing, and then with one stroke, we're gonna come right out here, cutting this kind of belly flap off. I'm gonna bring my knife under here, following those rib bones right there. They stop about that point. Come on this side, connect the dots. And there you go. Those are the rib bones and the belly from the triggerfish. The last step to clean is just to scrape these red bits off and trim that. Do it on the other side. Rub those red bits off. There you go. Now make sure you follow our next episode where we take this great local fish and we kick it up South Carolina style with some local crab meat and a really nice citrus cream sauce.
Make sure you like and subscribe our videos so you can come back and check that out, where we explore more of the places, faces, and tales of your Myrtle Beach seafood. See you then.
Beach easy.